how many of you have recognized the song? Good for you. For those who didn't, it was a piece of "We'll Sing in the Sky with Diamonds" by the Beatles. Its lyrics tells a story of a magical journey through a wonderland. Such a nice subject, isn't it? At first glance, it seems there is nothing wrong with it. So, can you tell me how come that BBC has banned it? The answer is easier than you may suppose. Just look at the letters in the title. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. LSD. And the whole journey described is just an acid trip. If it weren't for the drugs, the Beatles would never have composed the song, nor written the whole Sgt. Pepper, that was voted to be one of the most influential albums ever. Of course, you can still enjoy a piece of art, not knowing the background story. But if you actually dig deeper, you may come across something that will make you see it from a completely different perspective, and consequently, understand it better. You must know the sunflowers by Vincent van Gogh, don't you? They look nice, don't they? But have you ever wondered why he painted sunflowers? Because he liked them? Because it was summer at the time? Or maybe they just happened to stand at the table in his atelier? This series of 12 canvases was meant to depict joy and express gratitude for his friendship with another painter, Paul Gauguin. When Gauguin paid him a visit, his room has been decorated with these, and he's reported to have a special affection for them. Now, when you know the story behind the creation of the sunflowers, it is no longer just a nice set of pictures. It has a meaning. It carries a message. In this case, it's pretty controversial. What is more, it corresponds with common values. It might not have gone so smoothly though. The background of an artwork may as well be connected with something you strongly disapprove of. And then, what? A few years ago, I set a goal for myself, which was to understand the contemporary music. Sounds impossible, but at the time, I already knew that I have to get back to its origins. As a great rock fan, I ended up in the 1960s, where I have discovered the Doors. If you put all of their records next to today's rock music, you will clearly see how influential the band was, and not only in terms of sound, but also lyrics and stage appearance. Jim Morrison, their frontman and lead singer, was one of the very first to include pieces of high-quality poetry written by him into the songs. He's also known for developing an unrestrained, extraordinary performance manner. I was enchanted. I felt that getting into the Doors will help me understand the evolution of music since then. But the first step was to understand the band members as people. I didn't have to dig especially deep in their biographies to discover that all of them were heavy drug users. I was all at sea. I still have in mind the single story of the harmfulness of psychedelic substances that I was told as a child. On the other hand, Morrison himself would often emphasize the importance of psychedelic experience in his research. According to him and many other researchers, if it weren't for the drugs and now output of some artistic rock, also known as addicts, the band could never have existed. And what follows next? The great revolution in music could never have happened. Of course, there could have been some other artists to take their place. But what changed the face of the Western world's music was psychedelia. Then I've asked myself a question. If drugs had and still have such an important role in the art history, why is their positive influence mostly not acknowledged? And I answered myself, because it's not entirely understood. There are things you know about and things you don't. The known and the unknown. And in between are the dogs. That's us. This is what the band members would often say, asked about the origin of the name. The concept of the doors themselves derives from an essay all of them were especially fond of, namely, The Dogs of Perception, written by great Aldous Huxley. He was a prominent English writer and philosopher who in his research was trying to prove the importance and efficiency of the psychedelic experience in the creative process. As a result, he has introduced the concept of cognitive reducing valve. According to it, every one of us receives billions of stimuli each second. Way too much to realize, way too much to respond to. This is why your central nervous system shuts out the majority of what you perceive. Your brain filters those signals and focuses only on those that are useful to survival. Practical? Kind of. Psychedelic experience weakens the strength of the reducing valve. It allows a broader spectrum of our overall experience to enter into your consciousness. You perceive more. You understand more. Though it will be over eventually, you can still keep the feeling, preserve it, and share it with others. How? Express it in the form of art. Under the psychedelic influence, you are introduced to a different perspective of perceiving and thinking. You no longer hesitate to cross the boundaries of your brain. It can inspire you to create great things. Also, while narcotized, most of your inhibitions are gone. Don't worry you can't paint or write or compose. You simply sit down and do it. What is more, if your personal problems distract you from creation, you can always seek out for drugs. It will be only temporary, and you'll have to face the severe consequences. But if you're up against the wall. Now, if you think that drugs have and still have a great contribution to the art history, you're right. But if you think that they only cause downfall of many promising artists by creating illusions, you're right as well. I'm standing here not to advocate drugs. I'm standing here not to condemn them either. I'm standing here to tell you that I strongly believe art would never be the same without drugs. In many cases, it would be just as good as it is, or simply couldn't be created at all. What you want to see is what you look for, and what you notice. What will you see in the psychedelic art? Well, that depends